Hello and welcome back to another session of RMB's Service Management Solution. As you know, service management is a solution that provides service for any time you have a product that needs to be serviced after you sell it. This could include field service, where you've got to send service technicians out to the field to repair your equipment. It can also include field service when you use third parties like dealers or service providers to provide the service to your providers. And then it also includes when you have a return process where you need to have products come back in-house and then they are repaired or replaced, and that usually requires an RMA. Traditionally, RMAs come in through email, phone calls, and so what users typically do is they come in and they'd create the RMA in service management, and then they would use our main menu of the RMA service. This requires, of course, that the manufacturer has to type all this information in, and more customers are asking for self-help type situations. So today's call is really about introducing the RMA portal that opens up the opportunities for your customers to be able to log into a portal and create their own RMAs, which will automatically directly integrate into the base software here so you don't have to rekey any information in. Okay, so how does a customer get to the RMA portal? They simply log into the RMA portal. This can be provided as a login for you, or they can simply create an account on any device that they have. This can work on a phone, a laptop, wherever they're at, and they just create a login for them to create their RMAs. I'm going to log in, and what would happen in this situation is this is configurable, but this is your typical options you'd have when you have an RMA. I can type in and limit them to an exact serial number to return a serialized unit. Because they may have registered their products, they may have their serialized products already in this portal, so they could use it that way. They may have to search for a product that's not serialized. Not every product in the world is serialized when you return it. They may have a part, this is more of a component part, that they may have, like a switch or something that they may have to return. And then in the portal, they can also review their returns in terms of watching the status, kind of the Amazon effect in terms of finding out whether or not, it's changing statuses, where it's at in the process. All right, so I'm going to start off here, my serialized products. It's going to give me a list of products that I own now as the customer logging into this portal. I've taken the effort of registering my products into this portal. So now I can see everything that is here. And I'm going to return this particular serial number. So I'm going to click on that serial number. And as you can see, because it's in our database, we already have all the information on this serial number, what's the product, what the product name is, when it was installed. It's currently registered to me as the consumer T, and I now have all my information. So our goal, of course, is to make it easy for your customers to do this as well so that they're interested in using this portal as a tool. And then they can take action. In this case, I'm going to begin an RMA. When I begin this RMA, it brings the product that I'm going to return up on the top of the screen, and then I just split return codes. These can be customized by you as the manufacturer, maybe for modification, maybe for repair, maybe for calibration, for whatever reason you're getting the product to be returned. This one I'm just going to bring it back in for repair, and in this case, I have a leaking seal. I can add some additional notes in here in terms of, whatever I want the manufacturer to know when they receive this back in. I'm not going to put anything in there for this particular situation. But in this case, I can also add additional entities. This could be anything. It could be another serialized product. It could be another product itself. It could be another part. Any one of those they can now search for and add multiple items to the same RMA so they can return it all in the same box. I'm just going to leave it at 1 to keep it simple for this demo. And I'm going to click the next button. And what the next button is going to do is I've already got this customer in my database, so I already know who they are, and so I don't have to change anything. I've got my billing and my shipping. I got my contact information. Maybe I want to add a purchase order number to this, maybe not. And then what I can do is I can change some of this information just in case I want it maybe shipped to a different spot, those kind of things. Okay, so everything looks good to me. I'm just going to click the next button. And now I'm going to review my RMA. Is this what I really wanted? This is just me as the customer. Here's my billing. Here's my shipping. Here's the product I'm going to return. This is the return code. This is why I'm returning it. At this point in time, I can also add attachments. This is very popular in today's world, the before and after pictures, maybe even a small audio file that would give me the noise that this thing is making. In this case, because I had a leaky seal, maybe a picture of the leak, those kind of things. I click the submit button, and now I've got my RMA. And my RMA will pop up a form. This is customizable by you, so you can put your own logo on it, and if you want a custom form, this can be built out for you as well. You now see it was created at RMA number 124. And now the customer can simply print this, put it in the box with the unit, and send it back to you. Now the magic here is that this didn't create a form that you now have to retype in. What it did is it took this RMA number and took it right back to the base software. So if I refresh my RMA screen now, I'm gonna see RMA number 124 come in, and I'm gonna see that it was for this customer. And I'm gonna see that they're returning this product. And the problem they told me it had was this particular unit has a leaking seal. They didn't put any notes. If they would have put attachments in there, it would have been in there. So now I have all that information. It's now been entered for me on my behalf by my customer. And my customer now has the ability to review their RMA back in their portal. So if they come back to their home page, they can see that their return, here's their 124. And as this changes, it'll update this particular RMA for them. So now the customer has 24 access to create their RMAs whenever they want to. They don't have to wait for your hours to be open. They can now monitor it, and they can do everything that they want to in the portal. So hopefully you've enjoyed this. Hopefully you may find some application for this type of work as more and more customers are looking for self-help so they can do this stuff themselves. This is a great tool to consider if you have an RMA process. Thank you.